Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. And today I've got a fantastic guest for you today, Coach Jason Ambeau from Louisiana. And he is going to talk to us all about building high performing teams, operating systems, resilience, overcoming business obstacles, and the value of business coaching. He's got a lot of experience, and I'm happy to have him on the show for the audience. So, Jason, welcome.
Thank you, Chris. Good to be here with you this morning.
Yeah, I know, I always love people's origin stories. So start with your what you do and how you got there and how the
Yeah.
audience can benefit.
I love to tell the story that I started my career selling dirt. And it's kind of funny. I think I was around six, and I had this idea. Me and my buddy were going to dig a hole from my backyard under our house, under the road, under his house across the street to his backyard so we could go back and forth and play. And we got digging. I think we got about 5 feet deep, deeper than we were tall. Pretty nice effort. But we had this logistic problem. We had all this dirt. And I came up with the bright idea. Let's put the dirt in tiny paper bags and drag it around the neighborhood in my wagon and try to sell all the dirt. So we tried for all afternoon. We didn't even get the courtesy quarter, like here, kid, good try, nothing. Didn't sell a bag. We had some, I think we had some ideal client problems and some pitch problems, and we had a lot of issues in our business model. But I've been in sales and in business, it seems like, ever since then. And I started my career very early as a leader in the retail space, then became vice president of some local retail operations and had some massive expansions. Took a couple of companies from the 1 to 2 million space to 3 and 4 in like 18 months. Then I moved into the banking world where I worked in traditional banking, commercial banking, and the mortgage business, where I ran a telebanking division, which was recognized as telebanking division of the, or excuse me, teleoperation unit of the year in 2 different magazines. And then from there, I went into the public sector for a bit. I helped my aunt get elected to the tax assessor, and then she had no business experience, and no one in her office that did. So I managed that for her for a while, but I actually learned more than I ever thought I would learn in terms of dealing with the smallest mom and pops and the largest BASF, Shell, CF, like these huge corporations as well. I learned some interesting lessons, and then I left there and started my own business in the doing work opportunity tax credits and property tax negotiations for folks before I started coaching some years ago. And through all of that experience, the thing that I learned growing my career in retail, from a stock boy to a regional manager, and then into a vice president, then into being an owner, and all that entire lineage, is that the number one thing that matters more than anything else is people. I still think, I don't care what your business model is. Your business model is the same as everyone else's. It's get work, do work, and get paid. That's it. Every business, and I love everyone I sit down with, Chris, is, oh, well, you got to understand our business is different. I go, I know. It's not get work, do work, get paid, right? But I find, again, it doesn't matter what your model is. It takes great people to execute. It's just at the heart of everything we do.
Yeah, really. And then, so, I love this idea of people because, it's kind of like, is this thing where with technology and automation and AI, it's now, but you talk about, building A players. So, building high performing teams. What are key characteristics of A player team as well as A players, and how can
Yeah.
businesses attract them?
Yeah. Well, the first thing I would say as a premise, Chris, is that we have a more difficult labor market than ever in America. It's funny because people are like, oh, well, AI is going to take all the jobs, and technology is shrinking. Meanwhile, that's just not the case. You got the baby boomers that are retiring, taking a whole lot of folks out of the market. You've got a whole another couple of generations now that are making money from home. They're not willing to work for others. They're content to make less from their couch than go work for someone else for more money and build a career. So The labor market continues to shrink and shrink and shrink. And I think there's a big movement, certainly in America right now, where you are either going to be a concierge level type of business with high touch and high human presence and high care, or you're going to compete in the price space. So Costco and Sam's and Walmart and McDonald's is now opening up stores with no humans, just machines making stuff, right? So you're either going to be in this super, super cheap, save a penny here and a penny there type of business, or you're going to offer exceptional service, exceptional quality of product. You have to be special going forward. The middle ground is going to, I think, disappear to a great extent. That means you need amazing people to deliver stuff, to fulfill, no matter how else you slice it and dice it with AI and everything else. Hell, somebody's got to build those systems, right? So I just think that's the great differentiator going forward. So if you're at scale to compete with Walmart, I don't know. I can't help you. You're not my ideal client, right? My ideal client's between 5 and 100 million, and they want to be special. They want people to come back to see them or choose them because of this concierge level service that they receive, the experience, right? I'm that kind of consumer. I'll pay you $20 not to have to go to Walmart. I'm not going there to save 6 cents on a can of corn. I could care less, right? I want the experience. I like to be greeted at the door. I like that there's a butcher. I want there to be a baker. I want a human to check me out, right? It's like I want a different experience while grocery shopping than Walmart offers. That's what people have to start thinking about in terms of their business. You're going to have to differentiate yourself in the marketplace and prove why you get to charge a premium price, right? And you have to deliver on those brand promises. So what does it take to do that? Well, it takes systems and clarity of brand promise, an ideal client, et cetera, all those things and some differentiating factors, but you've got to have great people to deliver that. And so I would tell you that the A players in your organization, you can put this on a graph, by the way, on X and Y axis really easily. On the Y-axis, you put productivity. You get really, really clear about what are our expectations? What do we hold this individual in this role accountable for, right? Then on the bottom, you put your values, your core values and your purpose and the values of your company. And you plot your folks out. It's just that simple. To be an A player, they have to be at 8 or above in both of those categories. If they're 5 and above at both of those categories on your chart, I would call them A potential players. And everybody else has to go. Everybody. B players, people tell me, well, so-and-so's been around forever and we really love them and they're just great. I know, but their productivity is at a 4. Right? So their values match you. You love them. They're great, but they're not productive. I know, but they've been around forever. I'm like, well, great. Just open a charity. Stop calling yourself a business and just say, listen, we're a charity. We just want to give money to people. And that's why we exist. And that's fine work. Just be clear. You're not really striving to be an elite level business if you're allowing B and C kind of players on your team, right? So again, you have to get clear to describe what are the attributes of A players. It really depends on your organization, right? And what are the values and what are your brand promises? What are you looking to deliver? What is the experience you're looking to deliver? Because all of that would be very, very different, right? Just think about an accounting firm, right, versus a restaurant. What it takes to be an A player waitress or waiter, right? I need you to have some personality. I need you to have some hustle. I need you to have a big smile and a warm feel for people. I need you to be able to create a customer experience beyond the food and drinks. That's different. I need you to have high emotional intelligence so that you can take crap off of people and not want to put a knife in their throat, right? My accounting folks, on the other hand, I don't need any of that, right? What I need from you is the ability to focus for 2 and 3 and 4 hours nonstop and stare at spreadsheets and be highly accurate, right? And be super, super detailed oriented. None of those things do I need in my best waitress. None. Right. I just need her to smile and be wonderful and know how to hustle when when we're in the weeds. And right. I don't need any of that from my accounting firm, folks. I need a completely different list. So for your business, you need to get really, really clear about the individual roles that are in your organization and what are the expectations? What are the values you look for? What are the things that you need from that position? And then as a company, and then what productivity wise, what are our expectations? And if you get that clear, you can just grid that out on a 10 by 10 X and Y axis and grade all your people if you're willing to be honest with yourself, right? Because I tell people all the time, you can choose. You can have a team full of Avengers, or you can have a team full of Muppets. And I know a lot of people have a team full of Muppets, and they're wonderful. They're fun, they're funny, they're huggable, they're fuzzy, they're great fun to be around. But my team of Avengers is going to kick your Muppets ass every time. And in business, we're here for some clear purposes, right? Fulfill our purpose as a business and to make some money. And it can be rough. I want Avengers on my team, not a team full of Muppets.
Yeah, and really interesting response, because I love how you describe this idea where the middle is getting carved out, and it really reminds me of like the dichotomy in the US today. There's like the rich and there's the poor, and the people in between are either getting spread out. And here's my question. So, we have A players, right? But for example, in these existing industries that are legacy industries, but they're dying. So for example, healthcare, education, I could finance all these things. And, you've got A players, you've got doctors, you got lawyers, you got, business professionals, and they go into these industries, they're A players, and they're like, they want to make a difference. And they're like, yeah, this industry's horrible. It's dying. I could go out and start my own company. I can do more than, so how do you reconcile that with dying industries and A players?
Right. Then everybody else, we've got something going on here. To deliver, to deliver another level experience. Now, again, this is choosing what we tell all of our customers. If you're in the price business, right, the volume price business, I can't work with you, right? I want to work with people who are elite, who are special, who want to deliver a special experience. And because you do that, you get to charge a premium, right? My favorite example of that, Chris, is like the Yeti coolers. The little Yeti cooler that's the average size of your normal Igloo or Coleman. It's $700. You can buy the same size Coleman for $45, right? My first time I saw one, I asked my friend, what the hell are you thinking? He goes, yeah, but this thing will hold ice for like 2 or 3 weeks. I said, that's great. When was the last time you need to keep ice for 2 or 3 weeks? Like, what the hell happened? Right? So they've created perception about their product that it's elite and special. And then they charge, somebody said that, well, we'll charge a lot more like what, like 100? Somebody said, no, like 600. And they thought, you've lost your mind. We can't charge you. Yeah, that'll be the point. It'll be so crazy expensive. People go, wow, it must be awesome. So you've got to get that same thing going inside of your business, right? You have to decide, well, what's special in my niche, right? What can I deliver the experience? It's just so amazingly separate, right? So figure out what are the frustrations that people normally feel in your industry. What's complicated and difficult about doing business with you? What's the thing that people bitch and moan and whine about in our industry all the time? And then solve those issues.
Yeah.
Solve them. I mean, think just in attorneys alone, right? You call an attorney, you talk to someone who sometimes seems rather disinterested to begin with, but then you get on a call with a client. No one understands the structure. No one understands you're getting charged 30% plus fees and this and that, right? And so almost invariably at the end of the experience, they're kind of, really? We won 300,000 and I'm getting 50? They're like, are you shitting me? And it's distasteful. Why? Because the level of service and touch and understanding was never there in the first place, right? So if you build your organization around that idea, what are our differentiators? What separates us in the marketplace? Then let's push those out there to the public. Let's make that our thing. Let's make sure that our brand promises are clear throughout our entire organization, and everyone knows the role they must play to deliver this is the most critical thing we do. And we drive that home to the client constantly, reminding them of why we're so damn special. Wink, wink, why we charge you more, by the way, right? And then figure it out, because the best brands, again, going back to people, I hear all the time, oh, Chick-fil-A's great. They're awesome. What do you think? They're lucky they get all the good people? What do you think? Costco is just so darn, well, goodness gracious, we found all the best people. It's not by happenstance that everybody smiles and is happy and is cheerful and has a good time working there, and your experience is amazing. They've designed it that way. They insist, listen, you come to work here, you're going to be happy, and people are going to think so. And if you're not, you better fool them real well. That's the way we operate, and it's non-negotiable. If you got an attitude, you're not happy, you're not having a good time, you're out. Doesn't matter, right? So their values, how they treat customers, and how they differentiate themselves in the marketplace is more important than everything else to them. Like, we can teach you how to cook a chicken breast. I'm not worried about that. I don't need you to come in with experience there. I need all these other things first, right? So the first part of that is find those people to match what you were talking about, which is, this is how we're going to differentiate ourselves. This is how we're going to put it out in the marketplace. This is how we're going to deliver on that. And because of that, we'll get to charge a premium price, because we're going to look for a premium customer, and we're delivering a premium experience. And you have to figure out what those are in your market.
Yeah, I know we have around 5-6 minutes left, and because I really am interested in this, because I walk around, because you mentioned like McDonald's, and they're automating, and it's gonna be really, and now they've got like self-driving vehicles, and so you take away, and then you go into these kind of mediocre places, and you see employees, and they're there for the paycheck, obviously, and they're on their cell phone. They don't really care. You ask them a question, they kind of evade.
You're like, why are you bothering me? I'm at work.
Yeah. And they just kind of like, just basically useless. But what happens to these people? Because now you got these A players, and then you've got then you have everybody else. So what happens to them? And now you've got AI taking over them. What is it going to be? Unemployment, or what's going to happen?
Fortunately, thank goodness, I don't have to figure that one out. That's not my role on the planet. And I don't mean to say that and like throw them away, because I don't feel that way at all. I am definitely feel as myself as a participant on the planet for the good of us all. But that being said, right, that's just not my wheelhouse. I will say this, that much like businesses, they're going to be one way or the other, right? There's going to be a place where we have, look, right now, and I don't mean to admonish Walmart so terribly, but the customer experience there sucks. It's awful. The people that are there are miserable if you run into one, right? They're like, you're a burden that you're even in the damn store to get in between them or whatever in the hell they have to do. I went recently, I went back in the deli, a girl's making sandwiches, and she is eating a sandwich while she's making the sandwiches. Like, not getting a sandwich. It's just not happening, right? So there's going to be a place for those folks. And there are some consumers that are going to choose, no, I'll spend $100 there and I'll save $9 every trip. I'm always going to go there. Good for them. There's going to be a place for that. There's going to be people always serving in the cheaper is better market. Good for them. Fantastic. I'm not interested. Now, as a consumer, nor as a coach, the people that I work with are determined to deliver something unique and special in the marketplace, again, so they can charge a premium. But again, you have to deliver. If you don't deliver, if you charge premium and deliver something less, God help you. I mean, it's just really, really, really bad. You're not gonna last long in that space. So I think your marketing around those ideas, the clarification of what your values are internally, what your brand promises are externally, who really is your ideal client? Where are they hanging out at, so to speak? Where can I find them and reach them? What are the brand messages that are going to resonate with them? Are our systems and processes built to deliver on our promises? Right? Do we have our organization set up where people understand their role and their critical role in delivering this specialized concierge type service? Do they know that's our number one target? And make that our focus, right? Because there's a way to do those things. There's also a way to do those things that are not profitable, where you over deliver. So there's a real sweet spot in there. And that's one of the things we help folks do, is get clear about all those things we just talked about and then execute on them with an operating system.
Excellent. I love that. I love how you reference Walmart, because that's what I was referring to. But how can people
Everybody knows Walmart because they're the giant. They're everywhere, right? I don't think the Waltons are upset with us this morning going, oh, that podcast, that was it. I don't think they're paying attention to us, Chris.
Yeah. How can people reach out to you and follow you, and if they're interested in, improving their organizations and how can they do that?
Well, first place is you can find me at exitmomentum.com. That's our website. And I'm all over there in videos, all kinds of things. There's very specific spots you can find. And what we do is we'll set up just a 15 to 20-minute call with folks and just have a conversation. We're very picky about who we work with. We only work with folks that we know we can be successful with, who fit our ideal clients. So we have a lot of conversations, but one of our brand promises that we deliver value with every interaction, right? So we don't work with a contract. You can fire us at any moment, Chris, when you work with us. As soon as we stop delivering value, you just tell us, right? Doesn't happen very often. Sometimes people sort of graduate, but again, and the reason I say that is if we get on a 15, 20, 30-minute call, you're going to take some value away from that call, something you can actually go execute on. And that's part of our target. That's part of our goal, is that you walk away with something, and then we determine if we should move forward to our 90-minute fit meeting and determine if we're both a fit for each other. I'm not a fit for everybody, Chris. I can be pretty tough and direct. I say what needs to be said, regardless of risk. I tend to use the entire vocabulary, and that bothers some people, but that's who I am. And that's where I'm most effective, when I work with people that are like, yep, that fits us great, right? So you can find us there. You can find me on Facebook, Exit Momentum on Facebook, or Jason Ambeau on Facebook. And I'd love to speak with you.
Yeah, I love that. And for all the audience that's saying, Jason, for coming on, and really fantastic conversation, and steering towards the positive, and give his socials a like and follow, reach out to him. And thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you,